So welcome everyone, and hope that you enjoyed a beautiful day. I know I did. And I just wanted to share some reflections on the piece that I wrote. I was asked to write last spring, thinking about Earth Day 2020. Apologies, I got big headphones on. If you don't want to hear my dog barking at the door, should anybody even walk by the street, then I figured I'd make it a little easier on you. So um, so the first thing that I wanted to say is that one of the piece that I wrote is just the recognition of Indigenous peoples. And I know for this event, there was recognition of Indigenous peoples, caretaking of the territories. But I always like to remind people this has been for thousands of years that Indigenous peoples have been here, taking care of the lands and around the world. So people had knowledge systems and legal systems and governance systems to do that. But it's very diverse. There's Indigenous peoples all over the world with their own distinct cultures, languages, societies, and laws. But there is something that's very common among them, is this idea that the foundation of our relationship to the earth is one based on responsibility to the earth as a living entity. So we might think about our responsibilities to the earth as humans to be able to sustain ourselves, but there's actually responsibilities to the earth as an actual living being that has agency and a say in terms of how the world is going to go. And our connection to the earth is acknowledged every day. Okay, I'm assuming people can still hear me. So there's a scholar in the United States called Daniel Wildcat, and he talks about Earth Day as being every day. So initially, Earth Day 50 years ago, Indigenous peoples weren't involved in any kind of formal way, despite having knowledge systems and sustainable ways of thinking about the world. So he said, well, for us, Earth Day is every day. And people have already talked about it in this meeting. And that is the status quo is clearly not working. So we need to change. We need to have a paradigm shift or shifts in all kinds of ways, transformative kinds of ways. And Indigenous knowledge can help with that, and Indigenous peoples in terms of how we understand our relationship, what our laws are, and what our connections are, and what governance systems might look like. So globally, Indigenous knowledge has been recognized for about 4 decades, notably in the Earth Summit in 1992, the Brundtland Report, and since then. So it is a thing, like people are paying attention to Indigenous peoples and their knowledge systems. I think one of the best ways to kind of move forward with a sustainable future is recognition of the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. But to me, one of the biggest innovations that's occurring right now in terms of how do we think about the earth as being a living being and having agency is the rights of Mother Earth narrative. So the rights of Mother Earth, the earth is actually an entity and a being. So, I'm just going to leave you with some questions to think about. That is, what does Mother Earth mean to you? How do you relate to the earth? And what is your relationship like? And think about not just in terms of relating to the earth as separate from you, but actually having a relationship with the earth itself and entities and beings within the earth. So if anything, I'd like to leave you with that. There's still time to go out and do it while it's still a beautiful day, or maybe it's going to be the moon and the stars, but I encourage you to work on developing that very reciprocal and sustainable relationship with the earth. So Chimigwech, and have a wonderful day.